worse than I thought. He reached for it again. You sure about that? Aaron Noel, who was more muscle than any man had a right to own and still be able to move, flipped a drying towel over his shoulder and leaned back against the shelf fronting the smoke-fogged mirror. His white t-shirt was tight, the sleeves cut off to give his upper arms some room. He was a younger man who looked as if he had lived one lifetime too many. Not that I'm complaining, Grady, but I ain't taking you home tonight again, no offense. Grady grinned. You my old lady now? Nope. But the weather sucks, right? And every time the weather sucks, you get the miseries, drink too much and pass out. And then I gotta lug your sorry ass to that sorry hole you call a house. He shook his head. No way. Not tonight. He waggled his eyebrows. Got a meeting when I'm done. Grady glanced at the window by the exit. Past the neon, he could see the mist, the dark street, the empty storefronts on the other side. So? The bartender said, nodding toward the unfinished glass. Grady straightened, yanked on an earlobe, and pinched his cheeks. It was an old trick to see if he was numb enough yet to go home and sleep without having those damned dreams. He wasn't. But he wasn't drunk enough to defy a man who could break his back with his pinky either. If the truth be known, Noel was good for him. More than once over the past 15 years, he had stopped Grady from getting into fights that would have easily turned him into one of his own ghosts. He didn't know why the guy cared. It had just turned out that way. He considered the glass carefully, grimaced at the way his stomach lurched with acid, and said with a resigned sigh, the hell with it. Aaron approved. Grady slipped off the stool and held onto the bar with his left hand while he waited for his balance to get it right. When he figured he could walk without looking like he was on a steamer in a hurricane, he saluted the bartender and dropped a bill beside the glass. Catch you around, he said. Whatever, the bartender said. Just get the hell home and get some sleep. Grady reached into his hip pocket and pulled out a Yankees cap, snapped it open and jammed it onto his head, and made his way toward the door. When he checked over his shoulder, Aaron was already talking with another guy at the bar. Good night, gentlemen, he said loudly and stepped outside, laughing at the way some of them snapped their heads up, eyes wide, as if he'd just shaken them out of a nap. As soon as the door closed behind him, the laughter twisted into a spasm of coughing, forcing him to lean against the brick wall until it passed. Jesus, he muttered, wiping his mouth with the back of a hand. Quit drinking. Quit smoking, you old fart, before they find you in the damn gutter. He paused at the curb, then crossed over and moved on up the street, keeping close to the closed shops, the empty shops with plywood for windows, and decided as he did that he'd finally had it with this burg. As the government kept chipping away at Dix's assignments, folks up and left, and nobody came in to take their place. Hell, if he was going to drink himself to death, he might as well do it somewhere pretty, Florida or something, where at least it stays warm most of the damn year. He hiccuped, spat on the sidewalk, and belched loudly. On the other hand, he decided the same thing every damn night and hadn't moved yet. Goddamn army. Too old, pal. We don't need you anymore. Take your pension and split, you old fart. He belched again, spat again, and seriously considered going back to Barney's to have a farewell drink. That would shake them up, no question about it. Half a block later, he stopped, scowling at himself, and squinted down the street. The tarmac was a black mirror, streetlight and neon twisted and shimmering in the puddles. Nothing there but small shops and offices, a distant traffic light winking amber. He looked behind him. The street was deserted there, too. Nothing moved but small patches of fog. You're spooking yourself, bud. Knock it off. He rolled his shoulders, straightened his spine, and crossed to the other side. 2 more blocks, a left, a right, and he'd be at the worn-down